the affordable housing strategy that we've just started with the affordable housing bond is one. I think the other opportunity is, we need to, and within that, there's a lot of different things. So we want to build more units, which is huge, which I think a lot of people have paid attention to. The other thing is that we have been giving money for many years now. And if we need to expand that, I think this is a great place to give more money to. We give money to legal aid every year to what we call eviction diversion. So what we know is one of the cheapest things you can do as a city is to keep the people who are facing, getting evicted or getting kicked out of their home, keeping them in their home. Because if we can keep more people in their home, we don't have to build more units, right? Like they're there. We're not having to fight for a unit for them. And so that's one of the reasons we fund eviction diversion attorneys, and legal aid is the entity at the state level that provides that service. So we give them money, they hire attorneys, and they help represent those people in court so that they don't get evicted. And then the last part, and this is the part that, we don't talk about, and it does tie into economic development, is people just need to earn more money. If you don't have to worry about affordability as much if the wage that people make is a living wage. And that's something that the city has taken seriously. If we were allowed to by state law, we would pass a living wage law or ordinance, I should say, at the city level. We are barred from doing that by the General Assembly. But we have made that commitment to our city workers. And that's important because the city is, we have close to 3,000 employees. It puts what we call wage pressure. So if you can go get a job over here and they're paying you a living wage, which right now for the city is slightly over $16. If you're a lifeguard for Durham, right now you're going to make almost $20 an hour. And what does that do? It creates wage pressure because if you're a lifeguard and you can go work for the city, then the other places that have pools or run summer camps or have part-time, pools also have to compete with that wage. So then it pushes everyone's wage up. So that's the other part of housing affordability is we really need to ensure that wages go up.
Once again, that's one of those questions that's kind of linked with poverty, skills gap, jobs. You have to have an income to be able to pay rent, right? Or to buy a home. So it's interconnected, but Durham has taken some great steps, and we have some great community organizations out there who are working in the space. And I believe that we can build on that work. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's a matter of building and unifying and centering those voices. For one thing, we know that we have agencies like the Durham County Community Land Trust, and we also have the Coalition for Affordable Housing and others who are looking at these issues, but they're complex. So we have to, once again, center those voices that are most distressed, who are looking for housing, and we have to help them figure out what that market looks like. So it's a variety of things that we have to do. We've already started it. We have to come together with Durham Housing Authority and work more in that space. But I think this is not rocket science. Everybody should have safe, affordable living conditions. And I believe that we are on the road in addressing that, but it's gonna take all of us to address it. Not just the mayor, not just the city council. All of us have to be in that space to figure it out.
Working within inclusionary zoning and inclusionary housing. The goal really is to provide opportunities for multi-generational living here in Durham. Places like the Whitted, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's one of the old schools that was transformed into a multi-generational center for elder living and for preschooler students. So there's opportunities for multi-generational community. And I think that's one of the best ways for us to balance out housing, to create multi-use facilities, to hold accountable the builders that are moving here. And with inclusionary zoning, if you're building 100 units, let's require 20 of those units go directly to folks that are vulnerable or who would like and have contributed to building equity in moving up and giving themselves a hand, giving a hand up to them. Folks like myself, folks aren't just bound to housing developments like McDougal Terrace or Cornwallis. They're actually Durham residents who live at Red Roof Inn and who live at Extended Stay Americas, who are hotel bound. We have to create opportunities for them to move out of those places and into homes that we can revitalize. One of my main plans a couple of years ago while working on participatory budgeting was for them to focus on rehabbing or rebuilding the Harriet Tubman on Umstead Street, the Harriet Tubman YWCA, which is really well known as a place for community in that area. Now you'll see, upwards of 5 shootings in a month or two in that area. So we have to focus in on our historic spots, our abandoned buildings, the homes on the Holloway and Cleveland corridor, which are abandoned. These are 8, 9-bedroom homes. We need to revitalize. We need to dig into our resources and focus on focusing on what it is we have and building on it. The yesterday, today, which is a present and a gift, will help for tomorrow's future and building and creating a better future for folks.
As I mentioned already about the bond, the affordable housing bond, there are a lot of things already in the works. I think that our hands in a lot of ways as a city are tied as far as public investment in housing in Durham and creating affordable housing. So I think we can put into place incentives there, but I don't know how effective that will be. I really do feel strongly about this notion of personal involvement. There's been conversation about kind of small dwellings, small houses, little houses, just alternative use of land and zoning to allow for more affordable housing in Durham. But so, yeah, implementing what's already in place, asking people to continue to personally invest financially, but also to personally invest by sharing not just their finances, but in some instances, maybe their home or their churches or their places of business or whatever else could create affordable living situations and living housing for folks. And then, just the personal involvement. I will say that prior to my job in ministry now, I worked with Habitat for Humanity of Durham for a super long time. And that was one of the ways most recently that I was involved so much at the North Carolina School of Science and Math, because I was always over there getting you guys to come out and volunteer with us. But so my involvement with Habitat, that's the other thing that Durham City with the, Pennies for Change, there's a lot of resources going into affordable housing organizations that are already on the ground doing the work. So we just need to continue that and make people fully aware of the opportunities.